In a nation divided by red and blue, we at Core Values want to lead from the front. We want to bring both sides together and help create a unified purple nation.
Hey, how's everybody doing today? This is another installment of the Core Values podcast. And today we have a very fortunate guest here. We are having our first civilian onto the podcast, and I think it's really important that we have that voice of the civilian community on our platform. It's not just tailored to veterans or military members. The purpose of it is to incorporate everyone. And our guest here is doing, Nels Matson. He is someone I met through the Project Campbell project that he was taking a part of, and he was training at a F-45 gym of a friend of mine. And when I went there, he and I had this conversation that just was really profound, and I just wanted to make sure that I could get that voice out to at least our audience and as many people as possible. So I want to put the floor off to Nels. I want to just kind of give you a chance to just say what you kind of been doing right now and what is really your drive for why you're doing what you're doing right now.
Well, thanks for having me, Zach. I appreciate it. I'm excited to be on here and getting to share Chris Campbell's story and the story of our mission, Project Campbell's Call. So what we are doing is I'll start at the very beginning. How did I
Yes.
come to be a part of this?
Absolutely.
So I worked with Cindy Campbell, and Cindy is Chris's big sister. And we became friends, and she, like me, she's an accountant. And through our friendship, I learned about her brother, Chris Campbell. And Chris was a U.S. Navy SEAL. He served our country for 15 years. And Cindy also would like me to, I know that she is very proud of her brother's military service, but she always likes to remind us that there's this other side to Chris too, that he, while he was a Navy SEAL and had amazing accomplishments, he was a person, and he was had a pretty cool personality, and he just wasn't like some big tough guy. Although he was a tough guy, he was also an incredible loving brother and son as well. So Chris was on the helicopter that was call sign Extortion 17 in Afghanistan, and went down in 2011. In a note that accompanied his will, Chris had this pretty amazing wish. It was something that showed his heart of service that extended way beyond his life here. He wanted to make sure that if he didn't make it home, that his brothers and sisters that did make it home would still be helped. So he had a request that he wanted 100,000 people to come together to donate to Wounded Warrior Project. And the amount of the donations wasn't important to him. He just wanted 100,000 people to take action and help. And when I heard about that request of Chris, it stuck in my head. I couldn't get it out. And so it kind of percolated around there for about a year and a half. And I've done endurance stuff in the past, and done it to raise awareness for different charitable causes. So I started thinking of what could I do, and what could I do that would be as big as Chris, or not as big as Chris, because it can't be, but just like something for him to serve something big,
Impactful.
Impactful. So I Googled what's the fastest run across the United States. And I found out that it was 42 days, 6 hours, and 30 minutes. So a rate of about 72, a little over 72 miles a day. And the ironic part is the person who currently held the record grew up 20 miles from where I grew up. And so just because of that, I was like, this is something, it sounds incredibly difficult. And it's only been done by 2 people in the last, the record. So the first record was in 1980 and held till 2016. So this record's only been held by 2 people since 1980. But it's something that I felt like within 2 years that I could get to. So I called Cindy in December of 2020 and told her about my idea. I said, I want to attempt the world record for fastest run across the United States. And in doing so, be like an old-fashioned messenger carrying Chris's message across the U.S. And she was on board. So 2020, December 2020, I started training. We began kind of forming a team. So we have both a team that's helping with fundraising, and then we'll have some people on the road also. And it's just been a process since December of 2020, and we're hitting all the benchmarks.
Wow, there's so much there. I just want to speak on the military side, being a Marine myself, to have some confidence that your dying wish could be received and maybe have, through however many way may be accomplished or achieved. And somebody might be out there that could take care of your dying wish. And there's so much emotion into that because that you're going in a place you may not return. And, especially and then on you, you knew the family, you knew the sister. So that's just so much. It hits closer to home because the last person that achieved it was from your area of living, but then you're also doing it. You're getting a sign that this is your calling because you have something that you could achieve, and you're capable of something that hasn't been achieved in however in 30 years.
Yeah, this current record is 2016 is the last time it was broken. But yeah, it was kind of like feeling called to do something.
Yeah.
And this is the one gift that I feel that I have to help keep moving the ball in the direction to help Chris get where he wanted to go and see his vision through. And the family had made amazing progress. So in the last 10 years, they have garnered over 30,000 contributions. So that in itself is pretty incredible. But for someone like Chris, I think we should get there. We should help him get here to the end. So, but I actually, so Cindy on our website, she writes a blog, and so she tells stories about Chris, and then she also shares some of his letters. And one of the recent posts that she had was talking about Chris had a shirt from Buds, and on the shirt it had the SEALs with their arms linked together, and just showing that this is not an individual effort. And same thing with his last wish is to get 100,000 people to do something is not a single person effort. It's something that we've all got to link arms and help with. So while I'm running again, I'm trying to share this message, but I can't do it, and Cindy can't do it by herself. We're trying to link arms with as many people as we can.
I think that it's so important. One of the main reasons I really wanted you here was because you represent exactly what we're trying to do with core values. You are a civilian trying to support the military community in any way you can and can contribute. And it's what we need in the military is we need to incorporate civilians because there's so many people that are out there trying to help just as much as we've helped. And if anything, they can help guide us into a more collective path of achievement as opposed to just doing it our strong-headed way with no help. Because you may be a service member, you may be a Green Beret, you may be a Marine, you may be all these different titles, but just like you said with his sister, he was a person outside of that as well. He was a father or brother, a mentor, someone of the community as well. So I really want to start, getting into kind of about you and what makes you want to achieve this great feat of a world record across the United States. What really got you into running? Because in my opinion, being a Marine, running was, one of the hardest things to do because you always had to do it in order to maintain your capability per se. And you have to really love it, in my opinion, to get your mind in that focus zone. And when I see you, it's a different type of mentality to running. And I'm really intrigued by like your philosophy on it. How did you create your philosophy for running? And then also kind of what really got you on that path of being an ultra marathon runner.
So my beginning is actually wrestling. And so I probably did more running than most track people in wrestling. And I wrestled at Iowa State University. And we had, I was not the best in my team by any stretch of the imagination. I did break through the starting lineup a few times, but I was a really good practice partner. We had, on my team, we actually had several world team members, and we had a couple Olympic champions. So we had really an awesome team. And some guys out of there turned into amazing coaches as well. So I got to wrestle and be coached by Chris Bono, who's now head coach at Wisconsin, and was in the same room as Cale Sanderson, who's now the head coach at Penn State. So we just had an amazing room. And actually, I probably pull a lot still from a lot of those guys. And I remember watching Cale after wrestling a tough match. Like maybe it didn't look tough because he made everybody. I don't know if you're familiar with Cale Sanderson or not, but he was the only college wrestler to go 159-0 in college and won 4 NCAA titles. And after he would finish a tough match, he would get off the mat and he would run sprints because he wanted to push himself wherever he was uncomfortable, obviously, at the end of the match, but he wanted to push himself to a level beyond that because every time you go, you would be at that level. If you go and extend yourself even further beyond that level, then you've just grown. So you're in pain, and then you take that pain even further, and now you've built yourself so you can go in the next match, you can go even further. So I watched a lot of that go on by some pretty amazing guys, and so I learned a lot from them, and I continue to try to use that mentality. So even when I'm doing I might be doing a 100K, like a 62-mile race, and I'll still break that race up into like I'm in a wrestling match. I'll break it into 3 periods, and during those periods, I might say, okay, first period is the first 20 miles, and have a certain strategy going into that first 20 miles. The second period is our second 20 miles, and I'm competing with myself, and same with an opponent. Now it's myself, right? So if I show weakness to my opponent, like maybe facial expressions or start dropping my head or whatever, now myself, I pick up on those cues. And so I might start getting weak myself. So now it's a competition with myself. And so I look at that. And then third period, we put it on. And then if there's a few extra miles, that's overtime. So that's the way I look at it.
Wow. It's great that you depend on transparency in order for you to sustain that focus. You had to be true to yourself, and even if you show it, you know that you're showing it. So you can't lie in any way possible. Like you are bare to yourself, and you have to be true. Like, am I doing this with the right mentality, or am I gonna break? With that road that I'm. The minute that cramp hits.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot of check-ins. So
Okay.
I'm taking inventory of my body. So there's a lot of times where I start to get a little mentally weak, and I check in. So start at my head and go down to my toes and ask myself, all right, am I really hurting? Is there actually pain here? And if there's not, then keep going. You're fine. There's nothing here. And then if there is, then that's the opportunity to build. So if I do feel pain, then now I get to build myself from that point on. And it's crazy because you have that pain and you get to build yourself from that pain. And then when you get through, because the races are so long, you actually end up building out. I know some runners, there's Courtney Dauwalter out there. She calls it the pain cave. And you dig through this cave like a person on, with a little
Pike.
Pickaxe. Pickaxe. But there's another end to that cave. So if you keep picking through that cave, you're going to get to the other side, and then you're going to get free, and you're going to be able to run a few more miles. And you might find another cave, but there's always an end at the end of that tunnel.
Wow, that's an incredible philosophy on running. Because a lot of people, it's all, mechanics and all this stuff, and you have to use your body in this certain way, but the mind is the greatest power that you have in running, apparently, because you're fighting through constant negative stimulus. And there's every reason for you to stop. You have to keep, your head strong on what's your reason to keep going.
Yeah, you have to have that strong why.
Yeah. So what was your first marathon that you ever did? How long ago was that?
I think 2009. That I've done 2 marathons in my life.
2 marathons.
Yeah.
And then what makes you want to go from marathon to 62 miles to 100 miles to 3,000 miles?
So I take the same approach to, and just hear me out on this. I take the same approach as so really exaggerated to Usain Bolt.
Okay.
So when he starts the race, have you seen him? He's not the leader, right?
Uh-huh.
But he doesn't slow down. So at the end, it looks like he's speeding up, but everybody else is just slowing down.
Yeah.
So I need to run even longer. I need to run over 3,000 miles to get everybody else to slow down. So I can maintain that speed, but I have to go even further. So there's no way I'm winning a marathon. But maybe even 100 miles is too short. But once you start extending the mileage, I think it gives me a better shot because I can just keep going. At least that's my reason for doing the ultra and extending the mileage.
What's been your most difficult race or marathon that you've done?
So recently, just mentally, and this again kind of gave me some a little like a really crude perspective. It's not, but just like it helped me with the mentality. So I did it's called a skydive ultra in January. So you skydive, and then I ran 102 miles after the skydive, and that was pretty difficult because all your adrenaline pumps through you, and so you have that kind of lactic acid or whatever builds up, and I had that much earlier than I would have in a normal race. But it gave me, like, I was thinking, of like guys like Chris, that they go into intense situations and they drop in, and then they're going into a lot more tense situations than a running race afterwards. So, and they've got to be feeling that exhaustion even more than what I felt. So like I said, it's probably pretty crude, like parallel, but at least that's where my mind went.
Wow. Oh, no big deal. Just skydiving into 102 miles.
Yeah.
That's, there's people that say that they can do, feats, and then there are those that achieve those feats. And I think the mental fortitude and the it's what you go through in your steps and checkpoints and checklists is very similar to the military. And I think just your ability to overcome any obstacle, it's very similar to the military. And I think it's a perfect tie. And with being somebody on the outside looking in, it seems outrageous. Why would somebody want to put their body through something like that? Why would somebody want to deal with all the after effects, the soreness, the cramps? Even if you don't get the chance to sleep, you end up you have to run a certain amount to achieve your goal. So you don't sleep, and you're running on lack of sleep, lack of trying to stay hydrated, but lack of proper nutrition to certain muscles at certain times. It's just really incredible to see, how far we could push our bodies, and it's not, you're a perfectly healthy man. Your body isn't broken. It may feel broken, but you're not in a wheelchair. Your goal to run across the entire United States isn't going to cripple you.
No.
It's a mind over matter, and if you don't mind, then it doesn't matter. So if you can, inspire other people, I think the big thing with you is your relatability. It's not like you're, out doing Ironmans every single opportunity. You pick and choose what you've done, and you're more of a sharpshooter instead of a buckshot kind of guy.
Yeah, and as far as the other thing is, kind of going back to that team mentality, is, so I've got a team that's helping me get across, but I also am, you pick up so much energy from other people, and one of the things that I know that will help on me setting the record is if I have people that are out there pacing me. So I do welcome anybody who wants to come and join me for a few miles on the run. Some people may want to take on a 72, 75 mile day. Other people may want to just do a half mile, but I feed off of that. And so even to get the record, I need a team of people kind of feeding me their energy,
Absolutely. How do you have a family? How does your family go through this when you're going for long periods of time? You're going to be running 42 days minimum, I think, or maximum 42 days maximum. How that's got to be, because you got to get yourself in that state of mind.
Right. So my wife is my family, that I am with.
Direct.
Yeah, direct. And so she's on the road with me.
Okay.
And she's a massage therapist, so and a lot more.
Yeah, you need it, emotional and physical.
Right.
I mean,
right.
You're going through a lot. Is there any lasting effects from when you do races like this?
I don't think so.
Well, we're not doing a race here. We're setting a record. Let's be straight.
But it's kind of like a race, though. It is, because the clock is ticking, and but I'll tell you in 20 years if there's any lasting effects.
You may not have any buildup of lactic acid when you get older, and you just may be too energetic. Oh man.
I think you're like concrete. If you keep moving, you won't set up. So
Exactly. You form the mold, and then the mold hardens, and now now you have dishware.
right,
You know,
yeah.
it looks great. Put fruit in it. But with Project Campbell, I want say again?
Yeah, Project Campbell's Call.
Project Campbell's Call. Is that just a one-time thing for this record, or is it are there other causes that you try and run for?
So
And-
so Project Campbell's Call is what we're calling the world record attempt. We are looking at some like virtual runs with it, so we may in the future uh, do something with that. That's still unknown at this time. So there may be something, but it will still be geared towards Chris Campbell. So towards his mission.
I just came up with a great idea, and I'm just going to spit it out there.
All right.
If you filmed your run, you essentially could do a workout on like a treadmill where they have those instructors on there, and then you could just be like your own section where run with Nels with the world record, and you just motivate people that are running there with you.
That's that way. I only have to do it once.
Exactly, and then everybody can benefit because then they can run with you.
I like that idea.
Yeah, because they do it all the time. You like run on a treadmill, and they have this screen right there, and you have your coach, and sometimes you're running with people, and all this terrain, and it gives you something outside of your room that you can kind of enjoy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So with all the stuff with Campbell, Chris Campbell, what is your tie to the military, and kind of what is your view on how the military is viewed? Well, how is the military viewed in your opinion, and what was it like for you growing up? If the military was like were you pro military, or were you just not like introduced to that?
Yeah. So
Atmosphere.
I grew up very patriotic. I had a grandfather that served in World War II, and
What branch?
he was Army.
Got it.
And then I had my other grandpa was Army also. He was younger. Then I had an uncle who was a Marine. So I grew up. I had them as yeah. Military was looked at very positively in my family, and actually yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So it's just
and that being said, I grew up incredibly grateful to those who served, and obviously still am. So it was always I've always viewed military service is giving of it's complete giving of yourself.
It is. You sign that blank check. I just asked that because I wanted to see what was your draw, or what reeled you in on supporting the military. So with such a prestigious act of achieving a world record in the name of something.
Well, I think in this case, Chris Campbell's what drew me in.
Okay.
So Chris, like he, so in the blog that Cindy writes too, in the stories that I heard about him, he was just like this incredibly positive person, and just had an outlook in life that he wanted. He was interested in whoever he was with, and he was interested in the moment he was in, and which is I think it's pretty incredible. So he just had again, I didn't know him, but the stories I've heard, he just had an incredibly contagious positive attitude, and so I was drawn to his story, and obviously I wanted to help his sister also and their family achieve what Chris had put out there. So that was my draw to this. And
so let's say you do achieve this, 100,000. I'm guessing you're gonna far surpass 100,000. That's just my hopefulness towards you, and I do expect it. But what would that do for you once you're able to achieve this goal of achieving a world record, and is that separate from achieving the 100,000?
The world record I see is helping with the 100,000. So setting a world record gets this out in perpetuity. So it will make it last a lot longer than not setting a world record. Nobody cares about somebody who just ran across America. I know it sounds funny, but there's plenty of people who do that. So to set the world record will help Chris Campbell's name continue to be said, and it will help his mission get out there to even more people than if the record wasn't set. So that's why the record is so important to be set, and that's why I'm training and hitting the benchmarks to set it, and that's also my why on this. So when I get up in the morning, I have kind of a remember Chris type message on my phone, because I'm not going to hit snooze for a training run if I'm remembering him. So yeah, he is definitely motivating me.
So with this, what is your mission with achieving, or just being the one that's represented in this cause? What message are you trying to inspire for others? Because this is something that you see outside of just your own ambition. This is a mission. This is a purpose. You have a why. What is it that you want to inspire with others that is outside of Chris?
So I think one of the things, so something that helps me, I guess, have purpose is taking on causes that are bigger than yourself and that are helping other people. So I would like to inspire other people to do something similar. So I just think it helped. I know for me it helps my outlook to be able to know, okay, so for me, endurance athletics is something that I feel is a gift of mine. I can use that to help with something like this. So I would encourage others to say, okay, what is it that I'm good at, or maybe what is it that I want to be good at, and how can I use that for good? So that's what I would, outside of this mission, that's what I would like to inspire other people to look at.
Use your gifts for good.
Yeah.
Which is a great, it's a communal mentality. It's something that's desperately needed because there's so many gifted people out there. Mm-hmm. Everyone's gifted in their own way.
Right.
And with seeing just the way that you are with your endurance, I'm taking this from my own experience in the Marine Corps. If my body is really, sending out those quit signals, and my lungs are like I'm getting cramps on my side, cramps in my legs, my feet are sore the next day, and then you have to get up and do it again and again, and it just keeps breaking down your body. And how is it that you overcome those feelings of like your body shutting down outside of your realm of normality?
So I kind of flip the switch and I say, I like that feeling. So if I wake up in the morning and everything is hurting, which on this run it's a given, everything's gonna be incredibly sore, and I'm gonna probably spend my first mile like limping along, but everything will loosen up. But it's a thing that if I'm feeling that, then that means I put in the work yesterday. So now it's time to do it again. And I know, like, one thing I draw back to is on like when I was wrestling, and Saturdays were tournament days. And I remember after tournament days, if you wrestle good, you wrestle a lot of matches. And I remember like Sundays sitting in church, and my face would hurt, my body was completely sore, I was all beat up, but it felt good because that means I did good. I loved that feeling. I learned to like that feeling. And now it's kind of like now with the running, if my feet are all blistered and I'm my body's sore, it's like now that's my new Sunday morning. So I like that feel. It means I've put in the work. I've done something that if I'm feeling that sore, that means that I've filtered out a lot of people that could have gone that far. So I learned to like that because that's what helps me separate.
You take pride in your badges of honor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's wow. I mean, it's a mental fortitude. It's something you have to be very strong-minded and have very strong will to overcome those feelings, because they start coming at you from all angles, and if you can just embrace it and say and trick yourself into loving it, then you can release those those pain and embrace it.
Yeah, treat it as your reward.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's to show, it's there to train you, not to torture you.
Right.
And what are you learning through this pain?
It's kind of like like the first time I spoke in public,
mm-hmm.
or maybe the first time I wrestled in front of a big crowd. I was nervous, and
mm-hmm.
so that nervous energy first, I hated it, and then if you can learn to direct it instead of hate it, then it can make you even better. Like you can feed off that energy that you're directing to make you stronger instead of just energy working against you. So it's kind of the same thing with that pain. It's there, but use it to feed you. It's your reward and not your punishment.
It's your fuel.
Yeah, it's your
gas.
Fuel. Yep.
Did do you ever get in a mindset where what would you do if you weren't running? Like, what are your what ifs? Like, if you have, or contingency plans to running, are you still going to be somebody that has to push themselves to that level? Are you content with who you are? Do you feel like you've achieved something that's impactful in this world, or do you feel like you still have something else that's like could be your crowning achievement? I think this is a crowning achievement in itself. People train their whole lives to break a record, and let alone something as prestigious as running from California to New York. That's incredible, and you're on a short list of 3 people. I mean, that's in the history.
After it's done.
After it's done.
Yeah.
But you have to have the mentality that you're going to succeed because you're going to accomplish this mission.
Yeah.
There's no room for failure. There's only success, no matter how it happens.
Yeah, no, it's not. Mission's not accomplished.
Yeah, job ain't done.
Yeah.
Job's not done.
Yeah.
And
so, yeah, I kind of look at the running in short-term increments, and I think looking past this, I'm not really looking past this too far right now.
Mm-hmm.
And even so to answer your question, the other thing is I don't look, so the stuff that I did in the past,
mm-hmm.
that's stuff in the past, so it doesn't really help me.
Exactly.
So I'm not as long as I'm still here, I'm going to be reaching for something.
Mm-hmm.
It may be physical, it may not be physical, but I think as long as I'm here, I've got to be striving for something.
That's a great way to live. It's a great way to live because you're ambition driven instead of your setting is you're only allowed to thrive in your small area. I think you see your limit as you're boundless. You can achieve anything. If you put your mind to it, you can achieve great things and do good for people. And I think that's something that we should all aspire for, is just to be remembered as a good person. And the only way you can do that is actions of good, actions of kindness, selflessness, humility, empathy. Everything that you're showing and exonerating in this feat. Obviously you're a lot more than just a man attempting a world record, You've gone through so many different phases of your life, college, and then your day job. How do your friends, how or the people that you are communal with, how do they describe being friends with you? Are they always worried about you? Are they intrigued? You know,
Yeah, I should ask them.
yeah. I just don't know if you have the bold ones that just tell you how it is.
No, that I think I do. And my wife is probably my best friend, I would say. So she tells me how it is. So I don't know where I always know where I stand with her. But my other friends, they've just been incredibly supportive. Anything that I've done, they've been supportive of. And and the other cool part about events like this is we meet tons of new friends. So we make relationships all the way across the U.S. with things like this, and at our home as well. So we've got a team of I believe we're up to 16 now.
Wow.
That are helping us with this, and the time we spend together working on this project, we all become
Like
friends.
family,
yeah, like family. And and actually Cindy is a big integral part of our team as well, Cindy Campbell.
Wow.
So
Having the source right there.
yeah.
Do you feel that with you, you have this whole team, you have this whole environment that you've created. Do you plan on having that be like an activist group where now you're going to go and incorporate new causes and achieve new goals?
It's funny, I haven't thought that far ahead yet.
Yeah. We're just focused on you have a large task at hand.
Yeah.
And you have to be focused for it.
Right.
Let your wife and other people think about all this stuff outside of that. You need to accomplish your mission.
Yeah. Well, and that being said, so thinking too far out, I made that mistake in one race this year. So January 1st, I did a 62-mile race.
Wow.
And I started thinking about the big record at the end, and I struggled mentally through that race because I wasn't where I was at, and so I finished the race. Obviously, didn't do as well as I wanted to, but that was a good reminder. And again, going back, that's something that Chris was very good at, being in the moment, and probably why he was able to do what he did while he was in the military. So he started off as a West Coast SEAL, and he actually made it as an East Coast SEAL. So part of DevGru.
Now, did you ever go overseas with any of the stuff that you've been doing?
Yes.
Yes. What kind of stuff were you a part of? Was it just participating in competition, or was it for humanitarian efforts and philanthropy?
So it's wrestling competition. I competed in. So this was in 2000. So while it was still easy to get there, but I competed in Uzbekistan, and Kazakhstan, and Kyrgyzstan, and yes. So I've been over there. I spent some time in Russia also, about a year. In Russia. St. Petersburg.
From one to St. Petersburg to the other.
Exactly.
Wow, I just asked because, seeing other people's cultures and being in them, you understand a little bit of different of what's in America and, why it's different. From your opinion, what is something that you really hold yourself to? Like, what is your core values that you think that other people need to start implementing, aside from just being, doing good things, or using your gifts for good? What do you think could be incorporated in society now that has kind of been neglected?
I think one thing I see, especially now, is I try to do, and maybe this is my Iowa Midwest roots, but I like not picking sides, and I like coming in and seeing, instead of this side or this side, looking at all the points, and instead of saying this is totally wrong or this is totally right, like lay out the bullet points and then go bullet point by bullet point and see where there's commonality on things, instead of just saying this is totally wrong or this is totally right. So I think that's a big thing that I try to look at, is just not discounting somebody totally. I want to, let's look at the points and go from there.
There's more gray area than people, let out to believe.
Yeah.
And gray area is what, I mean, that's the purpose of purple, is combining, red and blue together to create purple. It's a unifying, gesture.
Yeah.
Well, I want to start winding down a little bit. You've been getting so much in preparation for your world record attempt. Do you have any upcoming training sessions where you can have people come out and keep track of you, or see when are you running, where are you starting, kind of thing?
Yeah. So we pretty much every Saturday I'm at a park called Nathan Benderson Park in Sarasota, and so like this Saturday I will be running for 8 hours out of Benderson Park. I do that most Saturdays, so I start at 6 a.m. and just run clockwise around in circles for about 8 hours. So people can come join me when I do those training runs. Saturday, whatever the third Saturday is of May, I'll be doing the Keys 100. So it's a 100-mile race in the Keys from Key Largo to Key West. And then in June, I'm doing an event called 6 Days in the Dome. So what that is it's a race that starts on June 19th, and the clock starts on June 19th, and it ends on June 24th. And it's a 450-meter track, and you run as many miles as you can in 6 days. And so that will be a big race. And something that just kind of came about this week is the current record holder, Pete Kostelnik, will actually be present at that race. So we'll be under this. He's doing the 24-hour. He's not doing the 6 day. So there's multiple events, but he will be there for 24 hours of the 6 day event. So we'll get to know each other a little bit better during that event. But people can. That's in Milwaukee, so people could. It's in a hockey rink, so people could come out and
stay cool.
Stay cool, yeah.
Where do you? I'm just a civilian perspective. Where do you use the restroom, and where do you eat? Where do you sleep when you're doing these extended?
I have a catheter.
Okay, got it.
I'm
okay. You got me. I was sold. Totally sold.
Yeah. So.
And a colostomy bag.
Yeah. So no, you gotta find places. So that's a good question. Cornfields.
Wow. Where there's not that many eyes.
Hopefully not.
Well,
yeah.
You have a whole team trailing you.
I know. I if I'm wearing a GoPro, I hope I remember to turn it off.
Turn it off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And then what do you do about sleep? Is it?
Yeah. So sleep, we're gonna have an RV along with us. So because we're trying for the record, we don't want to lose a lot of time and going in and out of hotels and all of that. So we'll be sleeping on the sides, in probably not random, but in fields or Walmart parking lots or whatever along the way in the RVs.
So you can't run out of gas, is what you're saying.
Yeah, hopefully we don't.
If they run out of gas, you're leaving them, and then they just got to catch up to you.
Yeah. No, I we'll have actually 2 vehicles with us. So we'll have an RV and then we'll have a follow vehicle. So the RV will go up like 2 times during the route, and then the follow vehicle will kind of leapfrog me every 2 to 3 miles.
Wow. Just, that's what it takes.
Yep.
If you want to do great things, you need a team, and then you need to, have the proper planning.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to kind of just really just say thank you so much for just blessing, us with all that you're doing, what you're trying to do, what you've done already. I think it's really important to have your voice and the voice of civilians on at least this platform, but on a large scale of people wanting to help the military and, do things that we all can be proud of. And there's a lot of people that are going to be very proud of you just by your attempting of this, but let alone when you achieve it, there's going to be so many people behind you that are just really excited for you. We're definitely going to be one of them.
Well, I can't, like we've talked about, I can't do this without everybody. So, I'll do a little plug. But if people want to follow the run, they can go on projectcampbellscall.com. So we'll have all the information, and then that's where people can donate and send people to donate also. So it's projectcampbellscall.com.
And is there any social media for that as well, or
yes?
is it just...
So we do have Instagram at Project Campbell's Call, and then Facebook is the same, and then we do have Twitter. I think Twitter is just Campbell's Call.
Okay, so look out for that. You'll see the name on all of those.
Yes, and I haven't. We're not adventurous enough to go on TikTok.
Well, it's that's a whole new can of worms. Yeah. Once you go there, you kind of can't come back.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. You doing what you're done, or what you doing what you're doing is just so incredible. And hopefully we can get you some gear or something like that, and maybe we can get you on a couple miles.
I'll wear it this weekend at Benderson.
Oh wow! See, that's what we need.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you having me on. So thanks for letting me share this.
Well,
and Chris's story.
Well, your story as well.
Yeah.
You are a man of great accomplishment, and what you're doing. Chris is going to be so proud to just see his wishes coming to fruition. Yep. That's impactful just in itself. That confidence of knowing your dying wish was followed through. That hits home for so many people that had to write those notes, write those wills, give it to their friend. Hey, if I don't make it, give this to my family.
And I'm very appreciative to Cindy Campbell too for letting me be part of this. I'm just happy to be part of the mission. I'm happy to be part of Chris's mission.
Well, you are the focal point of the mission. So
for this part of it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Nels. You can check out all of his stuff on the website. We'll have links to that. And this is the last installment of episode 7 of the Core Values podcast, and we look forward to catching up with everybody again. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for listening to Core Values. While we aim to represent all branches of the military, we can't do it without you, our listeners. Want to be on the show or know someone who should? Reach out to us on our Instagram at Core Values Official or on our website, corevalues.io.